Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show. I hope you're excited for this video because the mighty West Tigers, from wooden spooners to a premiership. You must be kidding. Yeah, I think you're kidding, Barry. Yeah. Anywho, am I talking? Am I in the right studio here? Sorry. Yes, the West Tigers to win a premiership in 2030. Yeah, maybe. But not right now. Anywho, let's look at the West Tigers' 2023 losses and gains before we look at what my top 17 for the West Tigers will be in 2023. Now, who are the biggest losses here for the Tigers? Well, obviously leadership, James Tamau is gone, but to be fair, his last season was pretty average at the West Tigers, so it's not a real big loss. Also, Oliver Gildart is gone, but he didn't really make much of an impression. Tyrone Peachey at his best would have been a big loss, but he didn't really find his best form at the Tigers. And also, but obviously, I think one of the biggest losses out of this group is Jackson Hastings. Now, people are going to say, you're kidding me? They already got a good enough halves combination there. But Jackson Hastings was the glue of that side, or one of the glues of that side in 2023. And he's going to be sorely missed, believe it or not. Some people are going to go, are you kidding me? I think he's a very, very good signing for the Knights. But anyway, that's the way they went. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. And obviously Luciano Leilua, but to be fair, he's a bit of hot and cold for mine. So that's no big loss for the Tigers. But who have they gained? Well, maybe the biggest signing is yet to come. Will John Bateman arrive? That is the biggest question of all. If he does, it'll make them a very, very improved team in 2023. But if he doesn't, I'm not so convinced. But obviously there has been some good signings. Obviously Api Coruscant, obviously their biggest signing. Isaiah Papali'i. They've made some good gets, but is it enough to really push them up the ladder? Also, obviously likes of Charlie Stain and Will Smith. They're good acquisitions as well. But where do the West Tigers field their best 17 for 2023? Are there any hope of rising up the ladder? Well, let's check out the West Tigers. My suggestions here for their top squad. Number one. Who do you think will be number one in this squad? Well, to me, it's Dane Laurie. He should be the fullback, but I'm expecting he's going to not re-sign. I don't know why. They must have some big fish they want to buy, and maybe it's Mitchell Moses. But Dane Laurie has been very good for the West Tigers. Again, you could argue that he could have scored a bit more points. Maybe he needs to get a bit more passing into his game, but he has been very solid for this team for the last couple of years. So, Dane Laurie, absolute, for me, a lock for number one. And the wings, now this is where three wingers don't go into two. So for me, Big Ken Malolo misses out. He misses out completely for mine. I think David Nofaluma and Charlie Staines will be my two wingers. Which makes the centres, where do you go? I mean, you could put Charlie Staines maybe into centre, but to me, I'm not convinced. So I'm going to give Tommy Talau his chance. Let's hope he stays injury-free because he was a big talent on the rise. Just hasn't really been able to be on the field enough to really show that. And then who do you put on the other side? That's obviously a big question. But Brett Naden they've signed him for another 3 years, so they must be expecting quite a bit out of Brett Naden. So I'm going to put him in. And that leaves Ken Mamolo out of the squad completely. So, hey, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Someone's going to have to miss out. If you look at the house pairing, unfortunately, at Picton South, Adam Dewey and Luke Brooks. Now, well, obviously with Benji Marshall and Robbie Farah there and Tim Sheens, can they get the best out of Luke Brooks? That's going to be the question, the biggest question in 2023. If they do, they are potential making the top 8, but that is probably going to be one of the crux between Luke Brooks and Upper Carousel and Adam Dewey and Dane Laurie. if they can get that right, because their forward pack's solid enough to get them around the park. That's going to be the question if the spine is going to deliver for the West Tigers. Now we'll go into the forward pack here. Well, I think this pretty much picks itself. David Clemmer, obviously big signing, and Stefano, they're clearly going to be the two. Now the biggest signing, Api Coruscant. Now, to me, this is a big concern for me with this team. That is he going to get what he did at the Panthers? That's going to be the question. And possibly that in their starting forward pack, they got an opportunity to do something big. But my concern is the bench. And especially if there's no John Bateman, they don't make the top 8 for mine. So if you look in the second row, well, obviously Isaiah Papali'i is going to be that one of them. And who's going to go in the other place? So obviously losing Luke Garner, that's going to be another big loss that they had. But I'm going to stick with Sean Bloor here. I think he will be there. And if John Bateman signs, he's clearly the 13. But if he doesn't sign, then I don't think they really have the player. Joe Offengarra is probably the next one picked there for 13, or Alex Twal or something. But they're not really the modern day 13. And that's the problem I see with the West Tigers. They don't have that modern day 13. And Tyrone Peachey could have been that sort of player, but he just didn't really deliver it. So Will Smith, they signed him. He will be the utility off the bench. He'll be the number 14 for mine. Then after that, Alex Twal and Joe Offengarra, assuming John Bateman's going to be there. And for Noah Pole, they signed him, big long-term contract. They might as well just start playing him now. And this is where the biggest question for me with the West Tigers is no depth. No depth at all. And to be honest, looking at the squad, there's probably only 16, 17 first graders, and after that, there's not much else under the belly. And that's including John Bateman if he signs. So that's very much, to me, suggests West Tigers are going to struggle to make the top 8. They might have more belief, and they're really going to have to find a couple of young guns to deliver to really push them into the top 8. If they don't find that, I think, again, it's going to be a long, hard season. Now, do I believe in Tim Sheens? I'm not convinced. But I am convinced in Benji Marshall. And I think Benji Marshall's first thing is obviously to get Luke Brooks to play, but it's to sign Mitchell Moses. Now, will he sign Mitchell Moses? I don't know. Will he take less and stay at Parramatta? That's going to be an interesting move here. But that's going to be an interesting play for the West Tigers, is if they can sign Mitchell Moses. And I don't even know if Mitchell Moses is the person they need. They need a fullback. And that's where someone like Joseph Suaalii comes into play. Now, he has the opportunity to move. And this is where I think there could be a big thing here. If someone says to him, boom, a big contract, I know there's more likely he would go to rugby at this stage if he was going to move, but eventually if he wants to play fullback, he's going to have to go somewhere else more than likely. And this is where the West Tigers could come up with a big offer. But so far, Suaalii's stayed with the big clubs, and it's hard to get a top player like that to move. But that's where the West Tigers need to be looking at that sort of player to be a fullback. And I think that's why they're not signing Dane Laurie, because they want someone better. But yeah, anyway, that's my tips on the West Tigers. To me, I don't see them making the top 8. I expect them to improve, maybe 10th at the highest. With Coruscant out there, they give them that opportunity to get there. For them to make the top 8, obviously they're going to need their spine to click. And they haven't clicked for like a long time, since Tedesco, Mitchell Moses was there. So, been on Robbie Farah, of course. So, long time coming. Will they deliver for you fans out there? You hope so. Up the Tigers for all you Tigers fans out there. But to me, I can't see them making the top 8. Peace out.